like brothers with all the miles and time we spent together. Yeah, we've seen it all. We've both seen changes in our time, busted dreams and detour signs. We keep rolling on. Brother Highway, we've seen it all.
Hey there, fellow wanderers, and welcome back to the Wandering Gypsy RV Life podcast, where the road is long, the coffee is hot, and the stories are always real. I'm your host, Stan Cromlish, and today's guest is Mark Sissel. He is what are you, Mark? Oh, you play in the band with Ned LeDoux, and I know that you're with TKO Artist Management, but frankly, I think you're a heck of a guitar player.
Thanks, and thanks for having me on, Stan. Good to have a little sort of virtual face-to-face anyway.
Yes.
We talked on the phone a lot and doing a little bit of business, but yeah, I mean, I started out in the 70s as a guitar player. I mean, I just wanted to play the guitar, so kind of hit the road. And it started from there and ended up getting into some tour management and getting with Chris LeDoux after many, many years of a variety of things, and then on into management, working for TKO Artist Management. So yeah, I've been 36 years, riding that LeDoux brand, playing music with Chris and now with Ned, and 27 years at TKO Artist Management. So I kind of found my niche.
I think you have. I think you found your niche, and you and I worked a lot together early this past summer so that I could license Ned LeDoux's Brother Highway for the podcast. And
Yes,
I appreciate the work the ability to work with you on that. And it's funny how different stories and different things in life bring us together. And me wanting Brother Highway as the anthem for the Wandering Gypsy RV Life actually brought you and Ned into mine, and that's kind of how the world works these days.
Yes, sir.
So I told you today we wanted to talk about stories from the road, and before we started the recording, I was asking you about cards in San Antone and a ice storm in 2020, 2021?
Yes.
May have been 22.
No, I believe, we shut down in 19. Was it not, or was it at the beginning of 20? I get confused.
It was Friday, March 13th, 2020 that COVID shut the world down.
Okay. Well, then it would have been 21. Would have been the next February. I think it was Valentine's Day, that time frame right in there. Went down to San Antone, and they were doing kind of a revised version of the rodeo down there, and kind of took a different approach. And it was cool. We were just supposed to fly down there and do a show. We were up where they put the acts, and it was a different setup, but they were doing it right. It was really cool, and they're great people. And we were just supposed to fly in the night before, do the show that day, and fly out the next morning, which is typical for us doing a fly one-off kind of a deal. But we were about 2/3 of the way into the show when security came up and said, "Hey, you need to finish like right now. We just need to stop the show. So, do your last song and tell the folks you got to go home right now." I mean, we're like 30 minutes from big ice kind of a thing. So yeah, we it was all about the weather. So it was just, they said, we just need to shut down right away and get people on the road and to their homes as soon as possible. So we did. And it left us stranded in town for about 5 days. Power went out. There were the Alamo Dome, they had some power. I'm sure they had some big generators running over there.
Right.
We could see them in the distance from our hotel, which had no power, no heat, no lights, eventually no water. Yeah, so
Oh man.
uh, and
And all you
cards,
all you
yeah, cards in San Antonio. We just had nothing to do. We were
right.
hoping for the power. They called it a rolling blackout, but like I said in the song, nothing was rolling our way. It might flash on for a few seconds, it felt like, or maybe a few minutes now and again, but it was so rare. And we kind of figured out that we were on the wrong side of the tracks, it seemed like, because they weren't
Yep.
pushing much power over to area we were in. But
Mm-hmm.
and ended up, there was a little convenience store slash gas station kind of next to us,
Yep.
and they did, keep going when the power wasn't on. They'd take cash.
Okay. Yep.
They had enough to light the place up a little bit, maybe with their generators. So we were
Yeah.
able to get some beer, get some snacks. Um, so we got some cards and we got some, those tall, they call them like Jesus candles, you
Yeah.
know?
I know exactly
And,
what. Yeah. They're about
yeah,
dang
yeah.
big. Yeah.
Yeah, we got some of those. And because we didn't have any lights, we put that in the middle. And, we were gambling. So, well, with batteries and matchsticks and whatever we
Right.
had.
Right.
Finally we got some change so we could do some change. But, to that Jesus candle, we'd
That's
We'd
right.
play cards at night just for something to do.
Wow. So that
Everything
yeah,
in that song, Stan. I mean, it's just flat out, you know,
that
just
happened.
just yeah, just telling this story. And I kind of put that together and sent it over to Ned. And said, "What do you got to say about it?" And he put his bits in,
He
and
put
there you
this two
go.
cents in. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I get it. So this summer, I've got a story to tell you. This fall, I go to a 11th annual Mountain Cove Cowboy and Cowgirl reunion, park the RV, get my RV set up, and then I have a buddy roll in, old rodeo clown friend of mine, and I'm sitting on the porch of the RV reading a book, just sipping a little drink. He calls me up, and I noticed right away in the tone of his voice that he said, Stan, can you come here? I've got no water in my travel trailer. I said, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. So grabbed my hat, put my shoes on, walked over to his travel trailer. And he had there were two inputs on the back of his travel trailer. One said city water connection, the other one was unlabeled. He put it in the unlabeled one. Little did he know that was his black tank flush. And for 30 minutes, nonstop, filled up his entire black tank till water was rolling off the roof.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. So we cut the water off, switched that over, and dumb me walks inside his rig. He finally got water in his sinks and everywhere. I hit the lever on the toilet
Hit.
and just got covered. Mount Vesuvius erupted.
Ooh. Oh, when that opened?
And when I opened the valve on the toilet, all that pressure buildup from having filled up that black tank to overflow so it was like releasing the gods.
Oh, Stan. Well, you were a real big help then, weren't you?
I was. And I turned around and looked and I said, he said, what do I owe you, Stan? I said, just a clean shirt is all I want. It's just a clean shirt. So I ended up with 3 showers that day.
Wow.
There's a story
I guess you had to
somewhere
stick
in that.
around. You
Yeah.
might have had to stick around and help clean up that mess, did you?
No, actually, his significant other cleaned up that mess, and he said, "You need to go take a shower. You kind of I want to be
Yeah.
downwind of you."
Yeah. Well,
I think there's a
thankfully you
song there
figured it out.
somewhere. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's a song somewhere in that. What do you think?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, gonna have to be delicate with that.
I am not naming the person who did this because he was embarrassed. He was
Yeah.
upset. He was like, I can't believe I did that.
Sure.
Um, but we've got stories from the road like that. That's what this podcast is really all about, are the stories from the road. And y'all travel much like I do in an RV, although it's probably much nicer than mine.
Well, yeah, it's just, our first with Chris, we in 89 was when I started with him, and 89 through 90. That first year, we kind of traveled in our own rigs, and we were just doing stuff kind of in that, Wyoming,
Mon-
Nebraska,
what
Colorado.
Montana? Yeah.
Yeah, kind of in that middle western states there. Um, but and the first he did go to an RV, kind of I'm not really an RV guy, so I don't know the terminology, but it's on the van chassis with the over the.
So it's a Class C. It would be a Class C with the bed over the
Yes,
cab.
Class
Okay.
C. There you go.
Yes.
That's an official
Yes.
term.
That is an
Um,
official term.
and we put about 100,000 miles on that 1 year.
Wow.
They're not
Wow.
built for it. They're not built for that.
No,
Uh,
no, they're
if
not.
it wasn't, the bass player really enjoyed like dumping the tank and stuff like that. He seemed to like that. And he had a screw gun with a lot of grabber screws to kind of hold that thing together, because you just can't run it like that. So we run buses, Prevost,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and that stuff. So they're a little more built for the kind of miles that we put on.
The Class A's, which is what the Prevost is, and the Newells, and they're diesel pushers, so they're meant to have 100,000+ miles put on them at a
Yeah,
go.
you
You
bet.
know, RVs aren't meant to sit. They're meant to roll down the road going. And, that my Class A, I've put 30,000 miles on it since I bought it in 23.
Yeah.
And absolutely love the lifestyle. But knowing that you've been doing this 30 some years, did you ever get tired of the road?
No, not really. I mean, like everybody, there are days that it'd be nice to just be home in my own bed, But all in all, I mean, I took off in the mid 70s. So I mean, uh, different
That's
types of acts have been with, back then, when I first took off, everybody had live music. So we'd pretty
right.
much roll into town and play at a place for maybe 5 nights, and then
Oh,
roll to
wow.
the next town, play 5, 6 nights, might be there a week or 2 weeks, because everybody just had, even at the Holiday Inn stand, they had a band in the lounge that played all the
Right.
time. They didn't have DJs, uh pre-disco, the very beginning, so obviously I'm just with the kind of bar band, and we're just playing wherever we can. We just wanted to play music, and kind of learn your
Cool.
craft, and that there were outlets to do that. It's tougher now for young kids, uh
There's
just
not
trying to
that
find a
much
place to
out there.
play it all the time. Yeah, so but uh and then you kind of climb and climb and climb, and hopefully get to where you want to be, and doing concerts and all that sort of stuff. And I
Hmm.
mean, I was so thankful and grateful for all my time with Chris LeDoux, and that family, and still with Ned LeDoux. And
Right.
I don't know, it's just something that I feel like keeps me young, getting out there rolling. I like coming into a place and it's a new group of people. We do the same job, right? We have to show
Right.
up, set up, um, sound check, eat some food, play a show, tear down, on to the next one. But it's a different group of people and a different environment every day, that we
Right.
do it. So it's that I think keeps it new and exciting. I like meeting people. I like talking to people and just chit chatting. And of course, you have to focus on getting the job done you want to do. But it's something about that and things moving past you and just a new place and a new day that I like.
Yep. And it's like what we talk about in the RV life. I like to fly fish. So I chase the rivers.
Yeah.
I like to go to RV rallies, and they have different musical groups at the rallies and that sort of thing. But I'm one of these, as I've been told, my bedtime is 8:30. Y'all are just getting cranked up at 8:30.
Waiting for shows.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't think you start at 4:30 like I do in the morning.
No, sir. No, sir. I hope not. I mean, I might be awake in the bus at that time sometimes, but I always thought, and as a tour manager, it was like first up, last down. That's how I felt with Chris, and I would wake up early, and unfortunately, my brain starts just going spinning. So I just get up because I can't. But these days, I'm hoping not to get up at 4:30 a.m.
You're probably what, 7:30 normally in the morning?
Yeah.
First cup of coffee about 7:30?
It seems reasonable to me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm on my third cup of coffee by then.
Yeah.
Mark?
Yeah, you bet. Now, I'm not saying 6 is out of the question, but generally I would say that's 7 a.m.
Well, it's kind of like this. I get up and I do my best work early in the morning.
Yeah.
Book writing. So,
man, when you do, that's a great time. It's quiet,
Yes.
The sun's coming up, and I mean, it's really a gorgeous time and a good time to think.
It is. It is. Going back to Chris LeDoux, since you did, 89 was when, everybody said Garth made him famous, but he was famous before Garth ever said a worn out tape of Chris LeDoux. He was famous in Western United States, and I had already found him with the rodeo stuff and all his rodeo songs. But
he was already a world champion, in one career, and had a huge fan base in his second career, whatever you want to call it.
Right. I always wish I was a fly on the wall for hippies in Calgary. That old Song where Ronnie Rosin jerked his wig off,
Yeah.
I could see Chris doing that. I really could.
Yeah.
They say it's a true story.
He never lost that kid-like, heart that he had. He liked to play pranks. He liked doing that stuff. I mean, the infamous dressing up like women and going out during Trashy Women, Confederate Railroads. That was at Starwood when that amphitheater still existed here in Nashville.
Right.
Starwood Amphitheater, and we had a show coming up with Confederate Railroad, and Chris decided that we were going to dress up like women and then parade out there during their show, during their set when they were doing that song. And when he first brought that up, Stan, I thought, well, surely he's joking about this. I didn't really. No, guys, we're gonna dress up. We're gonna do this, and then like, okay. I remember being out on the I forget where we were, but across the street from wherever we were hanging out at that moment was a thrift store, like a. Anyway, a thrift store, and Chris said, well, that'd be a good place. We go get us some dresses.
Lord.
I was walking across the street. Okay. And the steel player was about 6'4", good sized fella.
Probably 220.
Yeah, Bill, he's with us. And then halfway across this big road, he turned around and said, no, I'm not going to do it. He just walked back. Chris said, well, you don't have to do it, but it's a $50 fine.
Oh wow! So Chris was fine on that's cool.
Oh, he's serious about it. Yeah, he want to make sure everybody's good.
He is serious.
He wasn't much for fines or anything, but I think he wanted to impart the idea that no, this is going to be fun, fellas. It'll be great.
It'll be a blast, guys.
Yeah, and we got in there looking at some dresses, which was pretty odd. And boy, here come Bill through that front door. About 15 minutes later, he goes, "What do you got in a double XL ladies dress?" But we did it, and we all got into publicity people, or publicist is what I meant to
Right.
say, and some of the label, the people were helping. The ladies were helping us get some
ready.
makeup on, do our thing, because we don't know what we're doing. And we paraded out there and did the deal. And a couple of weeks later, the Country Weekly magazine came out and somebody brought it to me. And I took it back. Chris was in the back of the bus and knocked on the door, said, "Hey, have you seen Country Weekly, the new edition?" He goes, "Nope." And I opened up the centerfold, was us. Across 2 pages, dressed like women. And he said, "Oh, well, yeah, seemed like a good idea at the time." But I still see that photo come up every once in a while on social media. Somebody will post that.
I'll have to go find that then, because growing up, I rodeoed not very well. I rode bucking horses, so Chris's music always sent me down the road.
Yeah.
I think I told you that another friend of mine, and I can mention his name, Trent McFarland, said, "I always loved traveling with you because when I got in the truck, I knew you had every Chris LeDoux album that was ever made on cassette."
Yeah.
So he said, I would pick one out and we'd put it in, and the miles would just roll away going to the next rodeo. So,
Well, it was definitely music from a lifestyle of a lifestyle.
right.
It was really, it was great. And so many rodeo cowboys, young cowboys, and tell me that that's their traveling music. That's what
Yes.
fires them up for the next rodeo and going down the road. And I could see it. I never did that. People would ask, "Are you all right?" And no, I'm just a guitar
Nope.
player.
Nope. I don't think Bo LeDoux rode. Wasn't it Bo that rode? I don't think
Yeah.
Ned did. Did
No,
Ned
sir.
ride? I thought so.
No.
It was just Bo.
Just Bo was a bareback rider like his dad. Did good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And Cindy, the daughter, did barrel racing. I'm not sure what all she competed in, but she did
Right.
compete. And her daughter's,
Mm-hmm.
she's a good hand too.
Good. And I thank you for putting Ned and I together for the podcast about a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
He's he told me about the first time he ever burned a field in Kansas
Yeah.
for his, and then I realized from talking to him that he might be a little pyro maniac, just a little bit, because he enjoys that smell and that
Yeah.
and the renewal. That's a renewal of the earth, and
Yes.
so that was a good
Control.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, we blew a lot of pyro with his dad, that's for sure.
I was at Coyote. You were probably at the show at Coyote Joe's in
Yeah.
Charlotte, North Carolina, back
Yes, sir.
in 93 or 94, maybe 95,
Yes,
30
sir.
years ago. And all the pyro and the bucking machine, and at his age, I'm 55, and I don't think I have the energy that he had to put on a show like he put on every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Oh, he had plenty of energy, that guy. Yeah. I always felt like his shows must have been a bit like his when he was bucking horses, just in that he'd kind of prowl around back, stretch, grunt a little bit, and just like he was getting ready to get on something.
Right.
And then they introduce him and boom, he just comes shooting out onto the stage. And, if you've seen his shows as you have, and I mean, they
Yep.
were kind of action packed, he was
They
a little
were.
bit everywhere. And when we started with him, he stood in a mic stand like everybody does, but we were doing shows early on with Sawyer Brown and Mark Miller's, you know, had a headset mic and kept telling our crew guys, hey, Chris ought to try this,
Yeah.
gave them one and Chris wouldn't put it on for a while. He wasn't sure about that thing. And eventually at a sound check, they got him to put it on, and when he realized that it gave him the freedom to run, not have to keep coming back to that microphone stand because he was playing guitar, so he's not really,
Right.
you're not carrying a mic around. And, but when he figured that out, I think that was it, built
That
it
was
into
like
his
that was
hat.
like yeah, that was like lighting the fuse on
Oh
a stick
yeah,
of
yeah.
stick
He
of
could be
dynamite.
anywhere. So you
Yeah.
had to keep your eye on that guy, because he'd come over trying to stomp on your foot or push you around or yank your hat down on your head or,
Yep.
it was fun.
Yeah. And there probably were plenty of times when y'all went into Copenhagen that y'all had to duck from all
Oh
of
yeah,
the Copenhagen cans getting thrown at you.
yeah, every time.
He,
Excuse me.
he probably'd end up with a case of Copenhagen before the night was over with how
Well,
many
early
cans.
on, yeah, they'd throw full ones, and I think it got too expensive later on. They'd
Well,
stuff it
that
all in
was,
their mouth,
yeah,
and then put rocks in that can so they could get it up there. But
right,
yeah, every night was like that. We tried different things, and drop a net, but as much as we kind of hunkered down, he said, well, we just got to take it, boys. So I'd let security know, hey, they're going to throw cans at us. Don't throw anybody out. It's okay. But I did feel for the people in the front rows because they're looking at us. They don't see it coming, and if they don't throw them far enough, then yeah, you get it in the back of the head. So I
Hey,
did
those
feel
are,
for those people.
yeah. I mean, I've been hit in the back of the head a couple of times, especially when a buddy was mad at me, throw the
Yeah.
threw the can at my head and hit me.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a lot of them.
Yeah. So where are you up next? Orange something, Texas, right?
Orange Grove. Yeah.
Orange Grove, Texas, this
Yeah.
week.
Place called the Post OG. Yeah, we fly down there Friday. Shows on Saturday. Fly back. We're just doing some one-offs now. Everything, well, for us, slows down in the winter.
Right.
It's a good
Right.
time to do it. We've had plenty of
Yes.
incidents and all those things through the weather that, when you're in Wyoming, as one of our guys is still there, but we're all spread out. So
Right.
gathering everybody up and, we just slow it down in the winter. So yeah, we do. We have a date in Amarillo. It's actually a fundraising date that we're doing down there. And then of course, a couple of nights in Vegas,
During the
during
NFR.
NFR. Yeah.
Okay. Good
Mhm.
deal. Good deal. So Ned's, y'all are playing the NFR again y'all play that about every year, don't you? A couple of nights a
Yep.
year.
Yeah, for the last many years, we've gone to the Silverton. And we
Okay.
do the opening Thursday, Friday, kind of kicking off NFR. And we've done that same days, that Thursday, Friday. Gosh, I don't know. This might be 7 or 8 years in a row. We kind of like it. It was the last place when Chris would do NFR, the last several years were at this place. And it was before actually all their renovations. And now there's a Bass Pro Shop built onto it. That wasn't there when we were doing
Oh,
it
wow.
with Chris. And it was a little different, but it's kind of a special place for us. Any of those connections that we have to Chris is always kind of so special for us. So we like it out there. It's a little off the
Yeah.
strip.
Yeah, I know where the Silverton is. I've stayed there a couple of times. It's a nice hotel.
Yeah.
Um,
And they've renovated that whole hotel in the last couple of years, all of it. So
the
it's
last time I was in that hotel was 97 at the
wow.
NFR or 96 at the end. I went as a as a spectator to the NFR in
Sure.
'96, and stayed at the Silverton mainly because it was the cheapest place off the strip.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably a little bit more now. And then 2 years ago, they renovated all the rooms in the hotel, and they were
Oh wow,
redoing the pool, everything. So it's nice out there.
good, good. And then in the winter, do y'all do like the Houston Livestock Show or I know you did San Antonio. We talked
Yeah.
about that early on. Cards
Yeah.
in
Last
San
time down there,
Antonio.
they tried to keep us. See,
That's right.
but it's just whatever comes up. We haven't, and only did Houston uh, the rodeo with Chris once, and that was
Yes.
still when they were in the Astrodome.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they had the rotating stage out in
Yep.
the middle, and you're so far away. That was a big, big building, and you're so far
I
away from everybody. It
I
just
got to be in
sounds
there
different.
one time. Yeah, I got to be in
Oh,
there one time on in the arena for the rodeo. I got in as an alternate. I got in as an alternate, and
nice.
I could not believe when you look up, you can't, it's almost like you're looking up into space.
Yeah.
There was so much space. Well, it was what, the eighth wonder of the world is what they called it at the time.
Could be. Yeah, I think so. It's massive, and normally a lot of times you do those events and they let people come down into the arena, but they keep them in their seats, or it's just too big. It's too much to deal with. But they did want him to ride that bucking machine. I
Right.
said, well, we can't put that up here and be rotating. It doesn't. It just didn't work in that setup because you're in the round. While we really want to have it, and what we ended up doing was we spiked it down to a little flatbed behind a pickup. And when
Hmm.
that song came up, that truck drove it out there and then kind of followed as the stage was moving. And then when we got to that point, it stopped. And then the truck stopped and everything kind of locked down for that moment. And he jumped over onto there and then rode that bucking machine. So,
Oh
you can always
wow.
come up with a way to make something work.
You
You
can
just
make
have
it
to.
work if yeah, it's kind of that is making it work is kind of the story of the RV life too,
Yeah.
because there are times you've got to make something, you have to fix something just so you can go down the road.
Yeah.
And another story, I was in Dodge City, Kansas. One of those one of those high plains Kansas thunderstorms came up the morning I was leaving. Okay. I do everything you're supposed to do to get the RV ready to roll. I go back to push the button to pull the bedroom slide in, and it says it doesn't do a thing. No noise, no nothing. Push it, push it, push it. It's pouring rain outside. Go figure out in the manual what I need to do. Then I have to pull on my rain gear and crawl up underneath and reset something and then come back in and pull all the slides in. Ended up leaving my welcome mat and my step stool at the Gunsmoke RV Park in Dodge City, Kansas.
Well, you got to leave a little something, a little something to remember you
there,
by here and
there's
there.
there's an old Baxter Black poem, I believe, where he talks about I left a piece of my little finger in Cheyenne on the gate.
Yeah.
I think that's a poem by Baxter, but that's that's part of this life.
Yeah.
That's part of all of this, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoy traveling, meeting new people. Um, Heck, that's how we met.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. I don't think you'd be writing books and doing a podcast if you didn't really like it.
No, I don't think I would either. It's a
And
passion project for me.
those stories from the road, you know, if you spend decades on the road traveling,
Mm-hmm.
those those stories just happen. And if you can recount them, if you can remember them, and usually
Mm-hmm.
in a group like with the guys, if we're all sitting around telling stories, why one will ignite another and another and
Right.
another, and it just keeps going. But you can't spend this time traveling and not have those
No,
stories. It's just going to
no.
happen.
It
Yeah.
is. It's just going to happen organically. And, the memories that you make, you carry with you for the rest of your life. You
Yeah.
carry those memories with you.
And
You
sharing
know,
those stories is part of the joy in it,
it is. It
Yeah.
is. Um, I wonder, did you work with Toby Keith any?
Yeah. I did, through our company,
Right.
TKO managed Toby from 94 on,
Mm-hmm.
and, uh, you know, the cool thing about Toby, I mean, he was a great guy and did a lot for people and was just a good guy. Uh, but knowing him from when they were like a bar band,
Right.
like I was for
In
many
Oklahoma.
years, and yeah, and he was opening up for Chris shows, so we've known him from way back then in the early '90s until and to watch what he accomplished and
Right.
the songs that he wrote and how he did everything. So at TKO, I did all of from the point that he started headlining and pulling full production,
Right.
then I did all of his production deals, basically his production coordinator. I didn't tour with him. I would go
Okay.
out on certain shows to check things out, make sure everything's going on. But I would every year we would have a new tour. So you have to have a tour name, you have to have a new set design, you have to
Right.
get that built. Yeah, you have to put together sound, lighting, video, pyro, rigging, all the pieces and parts that go with it. So I would coordinate those things. I would get quotes from the companies. A lot of companies we worked with the whole time. They're just uh, great companies that did a great job for us, and we stuck with those people. But you requote every year in most
Mm-hmm.
cases, and put all that stuff together. And then later down the road, they asked me to step in and do. Okay, so when we're going to put shows on sale, you announce, you go on sale, all the marketing approvals, all of those things started coming through me as well. And so, hey, I was learning Stan as well. I mean,
You were
I'd
learning
been around.
marketing.
Yeah, yeah. And I always felt like, oh, yeah, I may not know everything about it, but I could sure learn about it quickly enough.
And
I had,
that's my style. I may not I didn't know how to publish a book when I started, but I do
sure.
now. I do
Yeah,
now.
you bet. You bet. And I had a lot of good friends in the business. So I just learned some things as I went. Production, I knew a fair amount about and all of
Yep.
that. So it was a great experience. And I got to do it with a great guy. And, you know, my time with Chris LeDoux, time with Toby Keith, and at TKO and TK Kimmerell, who I work for. And I've learned so much from all of those people.
Yeah.
I've been grateful every single day to have had those opportunities and still doing it. And in the bottom line, Stan, they still let me play the guitar.
Hey, if as long as they let you play the guitar,
Yeah,
you've got a
that
pretty good life, Mark. You've
that's
got a
how I
pretty good
see it.
life.
Y'all
Yeah.
still let me play the guitar?
Yeah, yeah. But no, I've listened to Toby. I should have been a cowboy. Obviously Garth. I was this morning. I put the Amazon Music. I don't have CD in the car. Everybody's streaming music now. At least
Yeah.
that's what I do. Um, and right after Cards in San Antone, the next song in the randomized playlist was I'll Never Smoke Weed with Willie again.
That made me cough.
Don't
Could have been
die on me
allergies.
there.
Could have been allergies, but Yeah.
But I said, dang, but I would have liked to have sat on Honeysuckle Rose with been a fly on the wall there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the next follow up was photo finish, but I wasn't in a hurry to get anywhere. Chris
Yeah.
LeDoux photo finish.
Well, is that, I think you and I talked, when Chris first hired us, I didn't know all of his music, and this whole past all these records and Chris said, well, I don't want you to listen to that old stuff. He said anything from I believe it was Gold Buckle Dreams, that album forward, but don't worry about that stuff, that earlier stuff. And I said, well, why not? He said, well, just don't worry about that stuff. He didn't really say. And so I didn't know a lot of those things. And I'd hear these requests, photo finish. They yell it in the crowd and things like that. And we weren't that familiar. And I'd say, hey, how about that song, Photo Finish? We get a lot of requests for it. What's that song, and it's pretty early on. Obviously, we know all that stuff now and all of his material, and learn a lot more about Chris. But he said, let me play it for you. We were in rehearsal for one of the early albums on Liberty Capitol Records. And it, it has 18 verses, basically. I don't know how long that song, 5-6 minute song, at least, something like that, I suppose.
It's 3.5, 4.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, it felt like it was an hour and a half, because he just kept going, but it's a great story.
It is.
And he said, it's a great story, and the old fans love that. But I can't play it. You see why I can't play it live at a show, because everybody just go up and get a beer, because it goes on and on and on. So, I mean, I could see his reasoning, but it's a fun song. And when Chris passed, speaking of Toby Keith, I know TK, who I worked for, relayed that to Toby. And he said Toby just picked up a guitar and just started singing Photo Finish. Toby had like a photographic memory, that guy, with lyrics and songs. And, he went up when Merle wasn't feeling well at a casino show, and Toby had gone back to say hi. And Merle said, Toby wasn't feeling too well. And Toby said, if I can help you in any way, I'd be happy to. He said, well, maybe you come up, sing some songs. What songs of mine do you know? Toby said, all of them. He goes, well, I mean, that you could sing all of them. I mean, he just had a memory for that kind of stuff. So
he was an artist. He worked at it probably day in and day out, and studied it. That's what you pay attention to people like that, because they are the type of person who, if you'd have dumped Chris or Toby into a desert and said, find your way out, I'm sure both of them could have done that, because
probably so. Yeah.
They are resourceful. Or drop them on a desert island and have enough stuff to build a boat. Probably both of them would have built a boat and gotten off the island.
Well, Chris did have a little bit of Yule Gibbons in him. We'd be on a golf course and he'd just pull over to some bush and pull something off of it and say, eat that. I said, oh, geez, I don't want to. No, go ahead and eat that. It's good. I didn't know what I was eating, but he just pulled stuff off. Yeah. He just had that in him. So yeah, you're right. He could probably find his way out of the desert and probably be well fed when he got to the end.
That's it. Well, Mark, I appreciate it. I promised you I'd keep it to less than an hour. I think we've done it.
Yeah. Well, it was good to finally sit down and chat with you, Stan, and not be on the phone doing business. So It's
Amen.
every time we did that, I think we got into some stories every time.
We did. We talked about, I was in Belmont, Mississippi, and I said I went down and went to this restaurant, Sparks Drive In, and I walked in, and the first thing I saw was 100 pictures of Mac McAnally.
Yes, sir.
Um, and I know that he produces Ned these
Yeah.
days.
Did 3 of Chris's albums, I believe. Produced all of Ned's stuff. Mac is extraordinary person. And I think you said where you were, and I said, "Well, you're in Mac McAnally country," and you said, "Yeah, well, I'm looking at about 30 pictures of him on this wall."
Yeah, everybody in Belmont, Mississippi and Red Bay, Alabama say, he is one heck of a singer in his own right. I know that he worked for years with Jimmy Buffett. I know he worked with Chris. He has worked with some of the greats in music.
Probably you could get him close to all of them, really. He did things with McCartney and it's just an endless list, and they kind of look to Mac, and he's just that guy. Yeah. 10-time consecutive CMA Musician of the Year. That nobody's ever done that,
Wow.
Well, Chet Atkins was 9. And when it came up to 10, and Mac said, "I don't want to be nominated. I don't want to," because he didn't want to. Chet Atkins was one of his heroes, one of the first people he met. And he didn't want to get 10 because Chet had 9. So Mac didn't want to get 10.
Yeah.
And they said, "Mac, it's not up to you,
No, it's not.
but he did get 10. So just a phenomenal human person.
That's it.
Yes. Incredible.
I want to close this podcast out with that. You meet all these people going down the road, and you can quickly tell who are the genuine people who genuinely want to help, to support, and to push you to be better than you were today, tomorrow. And Mark, I kind of see that in you. I see that in Mac. All of my heroes are musicians or rodeo cowboys.
Yeah.
But we also can see it closer to home with your moms, your dads, all of our first responders, everybody selflessly giving for others. And I believe that's why God put us on this earth, was to do for others and support them.
Well, believe me, you can sit in your house and see a lot of what looks like dark images out there, time and time again. But if you get out there like you do, like I do, and you travel, in all my 50 years of running down the road, it's just, the vast majority are all nice people that are happy to talk. And, you meet a few odd ones every once in a while, but all in all, they're good people out there, and they want to raise a family, and they want to have a job, it's there's a lot of good, and that's what we have to build on. A lot of good out there. Let's do it.
Let's do it. And that's kind of what I saw in Kobe. That's what I saw in Chris. That's what I see in Ned. So going down the road with, you watch the news these days, and you just want to crawl into a bomb shelter somewhere and hide. But we really need to just continue getting out there, getting on the road, and enjoy life, because it is worth living.
Absolutely.
Mark, I'm sure we'll do this again. Thank you so much, sir.
Good to chat with you, Stan. Y'all have a great rest of your day, whatever you got planned.
I will. I'm gonna. Right now, it's 6:30 here. It's 5:30 where you are. It's about dinner time, isn't it?
Yes, sir. I'm getting
All right.
hungry.
Do it. All right, Mark. Thank you, sir.
Good to chat.
Good to chat. Thanks for riding along with me. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow wanderer. You can find more stories, photos, and videos at wanderinggypsyrvlife.com. And if you'd like some behind-the-scenes extra, including that video with Ned LeDoux, head over to Patreon and join my campfire circle. And before I sign off, I want to give a quick shout out to a few folks who help keep this podcast rolling. Techno RV, they've been my go-to for RV gear, from water filtration to GPS and everything in between. You can find their products through my affiliate link at technorv.com. Trust me, they'll help you adventure more and worry less. My Patreon community, you're the heart of the Wandering Gypsy RV Life Campfire Circle. If you'd like to get video episodes, bonus stories, and behind-the-scenes content, come join us. And finally, my good friend, Doug Simcox, and his podcast, Beyond the Chutes. If you love rodeo history, cowboy storytelling, and the legends of the arena, you'll want to give it a listen. Doug brings the past to life in a way that makes you feel like you're right there behind the chutes. Until next time, keep your rig rolling smooth, keep your coffee hot, and remember, sometimes the best roads are the ones the GPS won't even show you. And not all who wander are lost.
Brother highway, we've seen it all. Through the wind and the rain and the snowfall. And no matter how far out I roam, I need you, brother, to get me home.